Should you plan that trip for Walt Disney World in 2020? Let's talk stay or go. Hey guys, it's Juliette from Perfecting the Magic, your home for a chic Disney lifestyle, and today we're talking about Walt Disney World trips in 2020. There's been tons of confusion, misinformation, panic about if you should make your trip in 2020.
You have no idea.
So today I'm going to unpack the 6 things that are critical for you to know if you're contemplating a trip this year. Number 1, advance reservations. So it goes without saying that a trip to Walt Disney World, at least in the last decade, has not been reservation free. In fact, if you're like me and you're the spontaneous type, you found that Walt Disney World hasn't allowed for a whole lot of that. 2020 isn't going to look any different in that way. But what has changed is that in addition to all of your hotel reservations, dining reservations, this year you're going to need a valid theme park reservation. So before you step foot into any of the parks inside of Walt Disney World, you're going to need to first go online and secure a park reservation for your respective day. Now, if you're lost, confused, really curious about what the availability looks like, head on over to perfectingthemagic.com. I've tossed a link right down below that will show you direct guidance on how to use the reservation system and also what availability is looking like in 2020. Right now, it's still looking pretty good, especially if you're planning on staying in a Walt Disney World resort, but this is going to be something to keep your eye on if you're planning on making a trip this year.
May the force be with you.
Number 2, no park hopping. We just talked about your park reservation. Well, sadly, you're only going to be able to hold 1 park reservation per day, and that totally cuts off your ability to park hop. So if you're someone who likes to jam-pack your day, starting out in Magic Kingdom and then trucking it over to Epcot, finishing it out in Animal Kingdom, first let me know what kind of sneakers you're wearing that allows you to get that kind of step count in a day. And also think about that's not going to be a possibility. So this is perhaps a reason to defer your trip until later in 2021 when park hopping resumes. Number 3, no fast passes. I like to call myself the fast pass queen. So there is no moment I'm inside a Disney park anywhere in the world where I'm not thinking about how to score my next fast pass and how to get on my next ride. If you're like me and you're a fast pass junkie, there's going to be a big set of changes to adapt to this year. So fast passes have been completely removed. Because of the reduced capacity of the park, Walt Disney World has said, hey, you probably don't need those right now. And actually, we need the extra space to make sure that we can keep proper social distancing in the ride lines. If you're like me and you're obsessed with getting fast passes, 2020 is not going to be our year, friends, sadly. Number 4, major changes to dining. So the dining plan has been completely removed, which means if you're a person who is planning on having your complete package booked for you, ready to go, budgeted ahead of time, 2020 is not going to make that a possibility for you at Walt Disney World. In addition to that, some of the restaurants are just not even open right now. Some snack options have been completely removed. It seems like some of the restaurants have really had to make big changes in order to accommodate for the social distancing measures. If you're a person who's got a huge snack list that you were just dying to eat heading to Walt Disney World, it's worth doing some research to make sure that what you were most excited about is still available in the parks before moving ahead with your 2020 trip.
That all happened?
Yeah.
Number 5, no character meets, parades, or fireworks. Oh man, this one cuts really deep. Tons of things have been shut down because they're just not safe this year, unfortunately. And there are some experiences that we've come to know and love. Namely, walking up and hugging Mickey when you see him in the park. That's no longer an option. So character meets have been moved to what they're calling character cavalcades. They look a little bit like a mini parade where a couple of characters will stroll by on either horses or floats, and that's happening once about every 30 minutes inside of the parks right now. When it comes to parades and fireworks, these have just straight been cut. Now, I know that the memories of standing underneath the Magic Kingdom, under the castle, and seeing the fireworks shooting off are just a core part of the trip for so many folks. So if any of these experiences are must-dos for you, it might be worth deferring your trip until 2021. Number 6, this one's pretty obvious, but you gotta wear a mask. Now, for some folks, this has just been a straight out deal breaker, particularly when you're thinking about the Orlando humidity. I have seen horror pictures of folks with masks covered in sweat. So yes, this one is a real challenge. Now, Disney has done some things where they've tried to make it a bit easier on you. So of course, if you're standing and you're eating or drinking while stationary, you're allowed to take your mask off. And they've also set up these things called mask relaxation stations where you can go inside, there's air conditioning, and you are socially distanced from individuals and you can take your mask off. But other than that, you should be expected to be wearing the mask for your entire trip throughout Walt Disney World. And for some folks, this may just be a no-go on its own.
Okay, let's see. That's 814 people notified. Only a couple million more to go.
Now, all of this comes to Juliet, tell me, should I go to the parks in 2020? And the answer is, for me, a really personal one. For myself, I already have 2 trips planned in 2020, and I'm planning on keeping those on the books. I know that things are gonna look a little bit different, and frankly, they're gonna look a lot different from the last time that I took a trip to Walt Disney World. But that being said, the chance to hop on some rides, grab a churro and a Dole Whip, and maybe like, I don't know, frozen margarita too to go on top of that, that is all worth it. So I'm willing to, yes, wear the mask, skip hugging my favorite characters, and still pay the crazy amount of money that it takes to take a Walt Disney World trip. For you, that answer might be different. This is a really personal decision, right? So do all your research, listen to all the changes that are coming, and then weigh the pro cons for yourself and make a decision from there. For a lot of folks, a Walt Disney World trip is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you want to make sure you're happy with whatever decision you make.
Our thoughts exactly.
Do you need even more information on the changes that have come to Walt Disney World this year? Head on over to our website, perfectingthemagic.com. We will continue to update the website with absolutely everything new when it comes to Walt Disney World in 2020. And of course, we'll keep you updated here on the YouTube channel as well. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to stay in touch with me. I'm Juliet, signing off for now. We'll see you on over on the blog and of course, inside the parks.